Hello and welcome to Salford Now. I'm Lois James.
And I'm Jack Holmes. Here's what's coming up on today's programme.
Your top story. I'm sure we all felt that chill in the air today as Salford hit freezing temperatures. Niamh McDermott reports from Salford Shopping Centre.
Have you got a room to spare this winter? We'll be chatting to a charity with a novel approach to tackling homelessness, and maybe you can help.
And boxes for the boxers. More than 200 Christmas selection boxes and gifts are being given out today at Bridgewater Boxing Club as part of a fundraiser. Hello and welcome to Salford Now. You don't need a weather report today to know it is very cold, and while some consider whether or not to turn their heating on, rough sleepers will be trying to find a warm place to rest their head.
We're going straight to reporter Niamh McDermott, who's in Salford Precinct, to give us a full weather report and tell us more about how this forecast will impact those on the streets. How is it out there, Niamh?
Thank you, Jack. Yeah, it certainly is really cold out here today, which is why I'm wrapped up like a snowman to stay warm. Now, at the moment, it's a brisk of 4 degrees, but we can expect it to get much colder into the evening with lows of 0 degrees, getting to -2 in the earlier hours of tomorrow morning as well. Now, across the day tomorrow, it will stay pretty frosty at -1, and we'll have much cloudier skies than this beautiful sunset we're experiencing tonight. Now, that -4 will continue into the weekend, and it doesn't look like it will get any warmer than the foundering 2 degrees Celsius. Now, there will be sharp drops and a yellow weather warning of potential ice in Salford, so the advice is to wrap up warm and be careful on your commute over the next few days.
I mean, it definitely feels like winter today, doesn't it? And like you say, these temperatures are quite a sharp drop. But what does it mean for those sleeping outside, and what are the risks of sleeping in this rough weather, and what can be done to prevent it?
Yeah, absolutely, Jack. In Salford, there are more than 300 people reported to be sleeping rough. And this freezing temperature is going to have a massive effect, especially with the risk of hypothermia and other illnesses such as the cold and flu, not to mention the toll it can also have on their mental health. Now, here at Salford Now, we have spoken to charities and community groups across the area that have launched warm banks. They're offering free hot meals and free winter clothes and other services to help those struggling with the cost of living and now the cold weather this winter. But the advice to everybody is to wrap up, stay warm, and reach out to these groups if you need any help. Back to you in the studio.
Thank you, Niamh. Now, with the temperatures dropping and the cost of living rising, perhaps it's the worst time of year to find yourself without a permanent place. Most would agree that the obvious way out of this hardship is through employment, but how difficult is it to find a job if you don't have a home? According to Salford's council, that's something affecting almost 5,000 households in Salford. But there might be a solution, and you might even be able to help. Here to explain that is Edward Radford from the charity Standing Tall. Edward, thank you for joining us today.
You're right, Lois.
Could you start off by explaining what is it that Standing Tall does?
So Standing Tall, we're a not-for-profit, and we match people experiencing homelessness into a full-time real living wage job and get them into hosted accommodation with one of our Amici hosts as well.
Okay, and could you explain to us what is an Amici host?
So an Amici host is somebody who's got a spare room and spare empathy to host one of the people that we're working with for 6 months while they get settled into their new role in employment.
And what type of person does an Amici host have to be?
So somebody who's got a bit of empathy towards somebody experiencing homelessness, patient, somebody who's kind. We do tend to find a lot of the people that become Amici hosts work in care or nursing, but there's really no go-to person. Anybody can become an Amici host, and we're just looking for all kinds of people.
Incredible. And could you tell me, what is the benefit of staying in with an Amici host in a family environment as opposed to staying in supported accommodation?
So one of the problems with supported accommodation is once somebody living in that supported accommodation gets full-time work, they're then liable to pay an extortionate amount of rent, usually around £1,100. What we're saying is, while you're starting a new job, you need a bit of breathing space while you get settled in that new job, and a place that you can call home. Another problem with supported housing as well is that you tend to get moved about quite a lot. You might have 2 weeks in Salford, you might have 2 weeks over in Cheetham Hill, you might have 2 weeks down in Chorlton or something like this. And it creates a chaotic environment that's not healthy for somebody who's starting work.
Of course. And what is the best way for anybody watching at the moment to become an Amici host?
So what you can do is go onto the Standing Tall website, that's standingtall.org.uk. There's a big green button in the right hand corner that says rent a room. Click on that, apply through there, and we'll take it from there.
Incredible. So not only are you helping somebody else, but you can help yourself during the cost of living crisis.
Definitely.
By gaining an extra income.
That's right, yeah.
Thank you so much for joining us today,
Cheers,
Edward.
thanks Lois.
Next, as we approach the holidays, you may be looking forward to enjoying a festive tipple here and there. But are you clued up on exactly how much is too much? Drink Aware have been in Salford to find out if people really know how to drink responsibly. Liam O'Donnell reports.
It's hard to argue against the fact that drinking is a big part of British culture, so how much is too much? Today, people in Salford, including me, were put to the test. Budweiser have partnered up with Drink Aware to inform the people of Salford how much they actually drink in comparison to government guidelines.
The main reason we're here today is to speak to people about their alcohol consumption, and the message as we go into Christmas is that you can still enjoy Christmas and just moderate your drinking. If you're drinking too much, it makes sense to be aware of the amount that you're drinking. Sometimes people don't know how much they're drinking, so what we're doing here today is we're doing a quick survey with people, and we're explaining to people how much is too much.
Key thing is to remember 14 units. 14 units is what the Chief Medical Officer for the UK says you shouldn't regularly consume. We can see that it impacts all aspects of life, so person's health and wider person's health, their mental health, their physical health as well, but also those around them as well, so their social networks, friends, family, colleagues, etc.
It was at this point that Bina challenged me to a quiz to check out how much I drink compared to the government guidelines. I, like a lot of young people, enjoy nothing more than a night out every now and then, but admittedly have no real knowledge of what effects this has on my health, other than it's not the best for my liver. I was shocked to learn that the Global Burden of Disease Company found that the leading cause of ill health between 15 and 24-year-olds is alcohol, and it's known to create cardiovascular problems at a later age too. Bina told me that 0 is the dream result, and that anything higher than a score of 8 on their scale is deemed high risk of an alcohol problem. It was a very embarrassing time to find out that cameraman Abdul was teetotal when we switched and let him take the quiz. And then explained why we are seeing more and more young people at high risk of alcohol dependency.
I think with students and young people, there's a couple of things. For the first time, they've got access to alcohol, and for a lot of students and young people, it feels like they're in a sweet shop.
If you're worried about yourself, or friends for that matter, visit Drink Aware online. Liam O'Donnell, Salford Now.
Now, Boxing Day normally comes after Christmas, but at one Salford Boxing Club, gifts were being handed out today.
Yes, in the red corner, Salford Business, and in the blue corner from the community looking for some Christmas cheer. Sophie Green went down earlier to see what was happening.
Boxing Club in Salford, where, as you can see me behind, there is lots of presents that have been kindly donated by lots of different businesses, and as well a little car here. So let's go and speak to Kerry, who can tell us all about it. Hi Kerry. Hi. So can you tell us what is going on today?
Yeah, we've come along today to Bridgewater Security. Basically, with all this stuff's been donated from Seddon, different places. So, with me being the community connector, I've kind of like brought one of my friends along who I work with, who's had issues with having to move house because she's been homeless, not really having much, falling through gaps. So basically, I'm also a youth worker, so I'm trying to break into getting our kids into Bridgewater Security, getting them into the gym upstairs, getting them boxing, giving them opportunities, outcomes that they're not going to get. And I think doing it here, there's a lot of role model people who these kids will look up to. So.
And as well, how many presents have you got Yeah, so you've got your chocolates here, you've got your lovely presents over there. Do you know how many presents have been donated?
All these presents have been donated. I think there's over like £2,000 worth of stuff, like presents.
Oh, wow.
I think most of the stuff's going to also go Brighter Futures. They've like got some for the youth kids. Some of the youth kids are already here. They've just picked what they wanted. I brought Brenda along because she's got two young kids. Not really got much money this year because of poverty issues and the fuel and having to move away from a family and work and stuff like that. And the selection boxes, we've also had a donation for Ascension Church, is one of the new churches in Broughton that got burnt down. It got arsoned in 2017. So we've got the Christmas fair, so we've been donated 200 selection boxes. JD Dance, she's one of our dance troupes, and we've got over 200 local kids who go to that. So we've been donated the selection boxes for the Father Christmas for the Christmas fair, so we can hand them out. So yeah, we've got them, and if you want to talk to Brenda, she'll tell you a little bit of what help she's had and what help she's not had.
Yeah, that sounds great. Thank you for speaking to us. We're going to now go over to Brenda. Hello, Brenda. Nice to speak to you. Neat to meet you as well. So, how has Kerry helped you, and how will the donations help you? As I saw that you got a present for your children as well. Can you tell us a bit about that?
That was great. Kerry, basically, she made me feel I'm still from Salford community. Even they sent me to Little Houghton, so I still have that hope that I'll come back to Salford and be close to Kerry, because she really helped me a lot, and she basically connect me to the right people, so I still have that hope that I'll be back in Salford community.
Oh, that sounds great. And are you excited to see your children's face on Christmas Day?
Yes, I am, definitely.
That sounds
a great job.
That sounds great. I hope you have a lovely Christmas. Back to you in the studio.
I always love this time of year, like everyone coming together, doing nice things like that, donating presents and everything. Like, it's great.
Mm-hmm. What was your favourite Christmas present as a child?
Oh, I was always obsessed with Lego when I was younger. So it'd always be like the big Lego sets, and then Mum would always get annoyed at me because I'd finish them within the next day or whatever, and she's like, I can't believe he's done it that quick, and then it's just more wasted money for her and everything. What about you?
I got a chopper. Do you remember them really old school bikes? It's got like a big flag on the back.
Oh yeah, the American style ones.
Yeah, I got one, and then people made fun of me, so I got rid of it. Yeah. Moving on.
Poor Lois. Well, anyways, before we go, let's have a quick look at some of today's headlines. Are you travelling home for Christmas by train? Well, just make sure to plan your journey ahead after train strikes were confirmed over the holidays. Following negotiations, rail delivery groups asked for an 8% pay rise, but the union have said no. That means the rail strikes will go ahead over the Christmas period and see major disruptions to train services throughout the month.
Next, a marriage counsellor in Salford has said that the cost of living crisis has increased stress around money could be one of the reasons why divorce rates are so high.
There's a lot of pressures on people at the moment, aren't there? You've got the socio-economic pressures, especially with financial pressures. Add children to a couple, and that changes the dynamic.
A recent survey from the Office of National Statistics found the rate of divorce has reached a 42% high, and Greater Manchester is one of the top 10 hotspots in the country.
And could noisy e-scooters be the next big thing? Researchers at the University of Salford have created a set of industry standard sounds for e-scooters. They developed the sounds to help alert people to the vehicles after concerns that a lack of noise make them too dangerous for pedestrians.
That's all from us today. You can keep up to date with the latest news and updates by following our Twitter, Salford Now News.
Thanks for joining us. We'll be back here at the same time tomorrow.
Goodbye.